The Fury Warrior is out. Don't even think of getting one to BFD. The 200 Warrior is the way to go, and I am gonna explain to you why and how. First, let me explain to you why the Fury in general is a terrible idea. Dual wielding. You see, when you are dual wielding, your offhand is only doing 50% damage, which makes sense, you know, because that gets you more or less on par with the 200 damage, but there is also a 19% miss penalty. That's right. At level 60 that is not a huge deal because you can get hit chance gear, right? But at level 25 this is catastrophic. Secondly, if you do not have a weapon racial, your best bet for a DPS is a staff. Yeah, a staff, okay? They have a deceptively high DPS number, but the reason you wanna get it is because you can get the 3 set bonus from the set of the Fang from Wailing Cavern. That gives you 2 weapon skill on staves, super important. And if you are an orc, sadly there is not a lot of great one-handed access to go for at level 25, so yeah, lots of two-handed access though. But regardless, I am gonna break down your talents live with you right here. We are gonna take 3 points in improved rend right here for more damage, and we are gonna have to take 2 points in heroic strikes just to get to the next step here. And this row right here is gonna be completely wasted. I am sorry, there is nothing good here. You're gonna see why we go here later, but you can get tactical masteries for when you go to prot stance. You can get improved charge. It barely matters. They are all useless. Thunderclap, yeah, probably not. I'm gonna take these 5 here, but you could literally flip a coin and get whatever talent in this row and you would get the same result. It doesn't matter. What we are here for is deep wounds. Okay, your critical strikes do 60% extra damage. This is important for 2 reasons. First of all, as you're gonna see in a minute, your runes, the more damage you do when you're bleeding, the more bleeds you get on the target, the more rage you're gonna get. So this is a bleed right here that you apply every time you crit, very important. And also your crits do effectively 260% weapon damage now. I know what you're thinking, and I know if you watch my video on the druid you're gonna think, oh, you gotta stack crit. No, actually I did the math for the warrior, and stacking crit is ungodly inefficient right now. You're gonna see in a minute. And that means we are gonna need crit from the talents. We're gonna rely on our base crit to do the heavy lifting here. And we got 2 choices. We can get overpower here. Every time you overpower you get 50% crit if you take all the stacks here. Or you can just get 3 hits in cruelty. That's 3% crit. And as you can see right here, we are level 25 already. So yeah, this is the max you can go for. I am gonna break down the math to see what we're gonna take here. Overpower is 50% crit chance every time you overpower. The boss has a 6.5% chance of dodging. You can only overpower when he dodges, right? So you're effectively getting, let's see my notes here. You got a 50% chance to crit on the 6.5% chance the boss has to dodge, right? Because you can only do it when he dodges. That is effectively the same as 3.25% crit every time you hit. And you compare that with just 3% crit here. Oops, there you go. I would probably go for cruelty because cruelty affects every single ability you do, and it also affects your normal auto attacks. So cruelty generates you rage, overpower doesn't. You could make an argument that if you have a lot of crit, let's speculate here, let's say that BFD has a lot of items with like percentage crit on it. Okay, maybe then you wanna go for overpower, but right now cruelty is the way to go. And we are gonna need this 3% crit to carry this damage. As you can see, I came prepared with math this time, and I am gonna explain to you strength is way more valuable than agility at this level. For context, assuming that you have a weapon of 24 DPS, right? That's a good 200. That's pretty much the best weapon you can get in BFD at that point. 7 strength is gonna translate to 14 attack power every single time. So 7 strength is 1 weapon DPS over 24 DPS of your weapon. That is 4% more damage. 7 agility in comparison is gonna get you about 0.6% crit. Every crit you get is 260% total weapon damage, right? So if you multiply it, you're gonna get 1.55% damage increase. So yes, you can see 4% is way bigger than 1.5. What's the catch? Basically, strength increases your damage linearly. The more strength you have, the less a single attack power is gonna increase you percentage-wise. Meanwhile, agility multiplies of the damage you got, so the more strength, the more valuable agility becomes. I did the math though, and it takes 280 total strength, that is including your base strength, which is about 90 at this level. And then and only then agility becomes more valuable than strength. In reality it is not that simple, right? Because crits do give you free rage and a bunch of other stuff, but then again, you're gonna be pretty dripped out if you can get like 150 strength, let alone 280. It's not gonna happen. If they decide to put hit chance or weapon skill, God forbid, on the gear, yeah, you probably wanna go for that instead, but otherwise you're just gonna have to stack strength. That is your only good stat at this level. Sadly, I do not have any legal warrior footage to show you here, but I hope you like these fly-through visuals here. Okay, I'm gonna talk about your rotation right now. I am gonna do a disclaimer here. Your bread and butter ability is gonna be Quick Strike. It is for 200s only. It is really good. And it apparently is gonna have no cooldown, and I am making this rotation assuming that. And since it is so good, what you're gonna have to do is to generate as much rage as possible to spam it. We are gonna spam this 24/7. And the way we're gonna do that is we are gonna get Blood Frenzy here. Every time you deal bleed damage, you gain 3 rage. Okay, if you look at here, we got Rend, we got Deep Wounds, we got 2 bleeds on the target. If I am not mistaken, there is a tick every 3 seconds. So that is 6 rage every 3 seconds, more or less. That is a lot of rage. And for legs, we are gonna get Frenzied Assault here. So this is just a 20% move attack speed increase. That is pretty busted. I don't think anybody's gonna argue with that. You get 20% more rage generation because you hit 20% more and you do way more damage too. Unless a new rune comes out, right? Maybe there are runes coming out, but unless anything else comes out, this is gonna be your build here, right here for the runes. And your rotation is gonna be pretty damn simple. You're just gonna spam Quick Strike, yeah. You do wanna open with Rend. Remember, we need Rend on the target at all times for the rage. Remember that in Season of Discovery there is no debuff limit, so you can spam as much Rend as you want. And of course, if you have an overpower proc, you gotta overpower it, is free damage. And since Berserker Stance is not gonna even be available until level 30, you can overpower without even stance dancing. It is pretty damn good. Finally, after the boss gets under 20%, you can just execute. I haven't done the math on this yet because we don't know the exact math of Quick Strike. It is still up for change, but it is very, very unlikely that execute is gonna do less damage. Execute is probably gonna be better, so we are gonna have an execute phase still. Now I am gonna take a minute because I think this is just as important as your rotation, if not more, and that is your weapon. Your weapon is gonna define how much damage you do, way more than literally any part of your gear. I think I would be a disservice if I didn't tell you where to get yours. If you are human, and if we assume that Nomeregan is gonna be accessible to you, we don't know that. We may not be able to get inside Nomeregan, we don't know. But if you can, all the trash mobs in Nomeregan have like a tiny chance of dropping this weapon. It is called the Gizmotron Mega Chopper, very rare drop. That is your best in slot in the game. It is from the Nomeregan trash. If you like maces, you can get the Slag Hammer from Razorfang Kroll. Same thing. We don't know if it's gonna be accessible at all either. And otherwise, you can get the Dusk Bringer from Shadowfang Keep. It is also a very rare drop, but it is very good. You should be pretty good with that one too. That one will 100% be on the game, so you can go with that. And since you are human, you are alliance, so you can also get a pretty comparable sword. It is called, let's see, the Ancient War Sword. You can get it from a quest in the wetlands. You know, the one where you kill all the orcs on it? Yeah, that one. If you are an orc, your best weapon is by far, bar none, is gonna be the Kill Maim. It is a random world drop, still obtainable though. It has a broken on hit effect, a lot of damage. It is also really slow. You want the slowest weapon possible. Otherwise, your only other option is the Axe of Severing from Shadowfang Keep. But if you are neither an orc or a human, aka a disgusting filthy gnome casual, at this level you have only one good option. and that is getting the 3-piece set bonus from the Fang. Remember, the 3-piece bonus from the set of the Fang, I'm gonna leave like a image here somewhere. It is 2 weapon skill for staves, and actually there is a lot of great staves in the game. You can get this staff, the Rod of the Sleepwalker from Black Fathom Deeps itself. That is gonna be your best in slot, but before that you can get Odo's Lay Staff. It is from Shadowfang Keep, it is pretty close. Or if you are Alliance, you can get the Staff of Westfall, it is almost the same. The Arms Warrior is gonna be pretty simple to build and to play, and if nothing new is added from what we know, and I cannot guarantee you that yet, but it'll be very unlikely that much of this changes. With this you can go out there and start grinding that BFD for big gains. And if you do not want me to go out there and start grinding your mom, you better subscribe and leave a like, and thank you for watching. Join the Discord, I forgot.